Hey planner friends! Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be planning for the month of February in my medium passion planner. Let's get started! So the kit that I'm using for February might seem like a little bit of a weird choice, but I'm using the Zombina monthly from Plannerface. I absolutely loved this art when it came out for last Halloween, and I've been keeping this monthly kit to use for February this year since then. The kit has the hot pink that I use as my theme colour for February, and also I felt like I didn't really want to use a Valentine's Day themed monthly kit for this month, so this one was perfect. As always, I've started with the pen base of my spread, so I'm just colouring in the top of the calendar boxes on days where I'm not going to be at work, so whenever I have annual leave and also the weekends. As I already mentioned, my theme colour for February is hot pink, so I'm using this hot pink Crayola super tip for all of my pen base stuff for this spread. Moving on to some stickers, I'm starting off by covering up all of the grey boxes that aren't in the month of February. So I've trimmed the date strips off of the main washi headers, and I'm using the washi headers to cover up those grey boxes. And as the washi headers are a little bit shorter than the grey boxes are, I'm using the glitter strips from the kit to just fill up that last little bit of space. I had to go into my stash to get some extra glitter strips for the left hand side of the page. Because there's only 28 days in February, I needed a few more glitter strips to just fill in all the boxes that aren't in this month. Because these header strips are shorter than the grey boxes are, I'm going inside all of the lines so that they take up as much space as possible. There's also a little bit of grey that you can still see around the glitter strip, but because of the pattern on the glitter strip you can't really tell once the whole spread is down. Next I'm going to move on to my date covers, so I'm starting by laying Thursday to Saturday and then trimming the sidebar header off the right hand side. I'm then going to lay Wednesday to Monday and trim Sunday off the left hand side and add it back to the right hand side of the page. Plannerface does do a Monday start date strip that you can add on to your monthly kit, but it still has Monday to Thursday on one side, so I would have to trim it anyway. Now that I've got my date strips down, I almost forgot to add in my February script, so I'm adding that over the big piece of washi that I have in the bottom right hand corner, and this went on a little bit wonky and they're quite delicate, so it's a little bit difficult to peel it back up again, so I've just left it as being a bit wonky. The date cover for Wednesday really wasn't agreeing with me in this spread, so there are a couple of moments where it starts peeling up and I have to stick it back down again. Next up, I'm adding the 1 cm chunks that I cut from the box covers just to fill in the white space above those date covers. I cut these in 2 rows so that on each side of the page the pattern repeats completely across the page. So now I've got all of those down, we can move on to my sidebar. So I first trimmed down the decorative sidebar so that it covers the monthly focus and people to see boxes. Then over the places to go and things to learn boxes, I'm adding in 4 hot checklist boxes from the kit with the goals and to buy headers, and then I'm trimming the right hand side of all of those in one go so that I get a nice straight line. This is where I track my heaviest lifts for the month and also anything that I need to buy during the month. We can then move on to the bottom part of the spread, so I'm using one of the skinny pieces of washi to create a header over the personal project section, and then I'm adding my mini calendar over the work project section, which is where I track my steps and walkies with Reggie. For the break it down section, I've cut 6mm chunks from the box covers to create a little header, and then I'm adding in my big habit tracker, which is just something that I make in Excel and print off on sticker paper myself. I can then finish off the base of my spread by adding in all of my date flags, and I'm going to put down a couple of these and then skip to the end, and we can get started with my plans for the month. So starting on the 1st, it wouldn't be the start of a new month without a bill, and as this is an old format monthly kit from Plannerface, I still have bill due stickers, so I've cut them in half horizontally so that they don't take up so much space in my planner. Moving on to the 2nd, I have another bill, and also I'll be working from home this day, so I'm adding in the bill in the same way that I did on Wednesday the 1st, and then I'm adding one of my round laptop icons from Plannerface to mark in that I'm working from home this day. On the 3rd, I'm using a quarter box and a little medical icon from my stash to mark in that my mum is having some surgery this day. She should be home by the evening, so I just need to remember to drop her a text in the morning and give her a call in the evening. I also have a meeting at work this day, so I'm using a skinny event label with the phone doodle from the kit to mark that in, and then I'm also adding in a bin doodle from the kit to mark in that this is a bin day for us. There's no team training on the 4th because the 5th is competition day, so I'm using a half box from the kit with the Joy of Planning weightlifting girl to mark in my 2nd weightlifting competition. Moving on to the first full week of February, on the 7th I'm working from home, so I'm adding in another laptop icon, and then I'm using a quarter box with the paw print doodle from the kit to mark in that Reggie has a vet checkup this day. On this day I also have my appraisal at work, so I'm using a skinny event label and a doodle from the kit to mark that in, and I think it's supposed to be a receipt doodle, but I'm going to say it's a paperwork doodle because it's an appraisal. I'm then going to jump back to the 6th and remember to add in another bill that's due on that day. Although this is my credit card bill, and I don't think I normally mark it in my planner because it's not one that has to be paid on the day that it comes out, so yeah, I don't know why it's in there. Moving on to the 9th, I'm again working from home and also have another bill due, so I'm marking those in exactly the same way that I have done throughout the rest of this spread. On the 10th is another bin day, and then moving on to the 11th, I'm using one of the solid pieces of washi from the kit to mark in that this day is International Women in Science Day. I'll be celebrating by going to team training like I normally do on a Saturday, so I'm using an event label with a dumbbell doodle from Plannerface to mark that in. Moving on to the 13th, I have another bill due, so again I'm marking that in exactly the same way as I have my previous ones. And then the 14th is Valentine's Day, so I'm using another solid piece of washi from the kit to mark that in. Since setting up this spread, I've also booked in my car service, so I've added that into that day as well. Thankfully me and my boyfriend don't really do anything for Valentine's Day, so it seems like the perfect day to have my car serviced. On the 16th I'm again working from home and it's my friend's birthday, so I'm using one of the birthday labels from the kit but overlaying the cake with the little birthday present doodle. And then moving on to Friday the 17th, I have a meeting at work which I'm marking in with a skinny event label and a phone doodle from the kit. On Saturday the 18th I'll again be going to team training, so I'm using another event label and another dumbbell doodle to mark that in. And then the 19th is the start of Pisces, so I've got this little star sign doodle that I make myself and print off on sticker paper. On the 21st it's Pancake Day, so I'm using another solid piece of washi to mark that in. I'm not going to mark in Ash Wednesday because I don't really care about the start of Lent, but Pancake Day, yeah, that's a very important one. It's also payday, so I'm adding in one of the payday flags from the kit. And then moving on to the 23rd, it's another friend's birthday, so again I'm using one of the birthday cake labels from the kit but laying the birthday present doodle over the cake. Moving on to the last weekend of February, on the 24th I have another bill due, so I'm adding that in with another bill due sticker from the kit. And then the 25th I have team training and it's another friend's birthday. So I'm marking those in exactly the same way as I have throughout the rest of the spread, with the birthday cake label with the present doodle over the top of it for my friend's birthday, and with an event label and a dumbbell doodle from Plannerface for team training. I really thought that I would struggle more with fitting these two things into the same box, but actually I didn't need to pull up the little flag bits of the date flag at all. The 26th of February is then a very important day, which we are celebrating as if it's Reggie's birthday because it is his first gotcha day. So I'm using a half box from the kit with the birthday present doodle and a little Reggie sticker from Joy of Planning to mark that in. I don't know why I struggled so much to get these two stickers layered on top of that half box, but I did. But eventually I got them down, and then we can move on to the last couple of days of the month. On the 27th I have yet another bill due. I redid my finances recently and realised that I wasn't marking half my bills in my planner, so I've remedied that, but now there's loads of them. And also on the 27th I'm starting my next rotation in work, so I'm using a quarter box and an envelope doodle from the kit to mark in that I will be doing a 6-week oncology rotation to help finish my portfolio. So that is all of my stickers down for the month. Now I can go back in and fill in all of my plans as usual using my Pilot Friction pen. And yes, I did completely forget to add in any of my decorative boxes to this month, but I feel like this month is pretty full already, so I don't know where the decorative boxes are going to go, and I'm just going to add them in as I go along like I used to. So I'm hoping that February is going to be a bit more of a chill month than January has been, although it does look like this is a pretty full spread already. Thankfully they're all kind of little things here and there rather than any like massive events. I'm mostly looking forward to seeing how Reggie's progressing as we go through this month. I'm hoping that his checkup on the 7th goes really well, which I kind of think it will because we've reduced one of his medications a little bit now and he still seems pretty happy, and he's just doing so much better than he was when we took him for his last vet visit at the beginning of January. I want to be able to spoil him for his birthday even though he won't know what the hell's going on. With work this month, it's mostly going to be a case of tying up all the loose ends before I start my oncology rotation, and then when I'm actually doing my oncology rotation, I should have a little bit more time to focus on my portfolio because it's not like going to take up 100% of my time. One of my main goals for this year is to get this damn portfolio finished so that I can move on with my life basically. and finally being able to do this oncology rotation is something that I've been waiting for months at this point. As is kind of usual for the last couple of monthly spreads, I don't have any of my monthly actions picked out for this month, but looking back at my monthly actions from January, I did manage to do them all, so I'm pretty happy with that. I think a lot of my monthly actions for February are going to be continuing things that I've either started or continue doing through January, just because continuing what I'm doing is still a goal. There's absolutely no change to the habits that I'm tracking this month. They have pretty much been consistent for the past year or so, although my macros habit does change depending on what I want my macros to be. So by the end of January, my macros habit was basically just making sure that I was getting enough protein because I decided to go up a weight class for this competition on the 5th. But that's pretty much the only change that I've made to the habits that I'm tracking. As always, if you want to see how this spread fills out over the course of the month, I try and remember to post a mid-month and end-of-month picture of how this spread has turned out, so make sure that you'll follow me over on Instagram if you don't want to miss that. But that is everything for my pre-planning for the month of February. I'm really happy with how this has turned out. I absolutely adore this kit. So that's everything for this video, friends. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below. Drop the video a like if you enjoyed it, and if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye!